Henry John Temple 1859-1865. Henry John Temple, also known as Lord Palmerston, was a prominent British statesman who played a crucial role in shaping the political landscape during the mid-19th century. Born in 1784 into a politically connected family, Temple embarked on a distinguished political career that spanned several decades. His early years were marked by a combination of aristocratic influence and a keen intellect, propelling him into the world of politics at a young age. Palmerston's ascent through the political ranks was notable for his ability to navigate the complex dynamics of British politics. Serving as a Member of Parliament, MP, from 1807, he steadily climbed the political ladder, holding key ministerial positions in various cabinets. His political career reached its zenith when he became the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom not once, but twice, first from 1855 to 1858 and then from 1859 until his death in 1865. The mid-19th century was a period of profound political, social, and economic transformation in Britain and across the world. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, bringing about unprecedented changes in manufacturing, technology, and urbanization. These shifts had profound effects on society, creating new economic classes, altering traditional power structures, and sparking debates about labor conditions and workers' rights. Politically, the mid-19th century saw the rise of new ideologies and movements, such as liberalism and nationalism, which challenged the established order. In Britain, the Reform Acts of the 1830s and 1860s expanded suffrage and redefined the electoral landscape. Internationally, the geopolitical scene was marked by power struggles, colonial ambitions, and the emergence of new nation-states. Against this backdrop, Henry John Temple's leadership was instrumental in navigating the complexities of domestic and foreign affairs. His tenure as Prime Minister coincided with a time of significant change and upheaval, making his policies and decisions crucial in shaping the course of British history during this pivotal era. Henry John Temple, born on October 20, 1784, into the influential Temple family, inherited a legacy deeply entrenched in British politics. The Temple family had long-standing connections with the Whig political faction, and young Henry was exposed to the intricacies of political discourse from an early age. His father, the second Viscount Palmerston, provided him with not only a privileged upbringing but also a front-row seat to the political machinations of the time. Growing up in Broadlands, a grand estate in Hampshire, Temple's childhood was marked by the traditions of the British aristocracy. The political discussions and engagements within the family circle, however, would significantly shape his worldview and fuel his later political ambitions. The family's Whig affiliations and commitment to liberal values left an indelible mark on Temple, influencing his political stance throughout his life. Henry John Temple's education followed the conventional path for aristocrats of his time. He attended Harrow School and later proceeded to study at St. John's College, Cambridge. His academic pursuits laid the groundwork for a career in public service, but it was his early exposure to political life that truly set him on the path to a distinguished political career. In 1807, at the age of 23, Temple entered the political arena by securing a seat in the House of Commons as the Member of Parliament for Newport, Isle of Wight. This marked the beginning of his parliamentary career, and he quickly distinguished himself with his eloquence and wit. Temple's early years in politics were marked by a commitment to Whig principles, including parliamentary reform and a broad interpretation of civil liberties. Temple's rise through the political ranks was swift and impressive. His natural aptitude for diplomacy and a knack for navigating the complex world of British politics earned him several key appointments. Notably, he served as Secretary at War, a position he held from 1809 to 1828, showcasing his competence in military matters and administrative skills. As he ascended through the ranks, Temple's political acumen became increasingly evident. His ability to build alliances and navigate the turbulent waters of political rivalries contributed to his appointment as Foreign Secretary in 1830, a position he held intermittently over the years. Temple's tenure as Foreign Secretary laid the foundation for his later global diplomatic engagements, setting the stage for the significant role he would play in international affairs during the mid-19th century. Henry John Temple, later known as Lord Palmerston, was a statesman with a pragmatic and assertive approach to international relations. His foreign policy philosophy was characterized by a combination of realpolitik, national interest, and a belief in the strategic use of diplomacy and military power. Temple's long tenure in various diplomatic and foreign affairs roles allowed him to shape Britain's stance on the global stage during a period of significant geopolitical shifts. Palmerston's approach was often marked by a focus on maintaining a balance of power in Europe to ensure the security and stability of the British Empire. He believed in a strong, assertive foreign policy that safeguarded British interests, protected commerce, and secured strategic advantages. Known for his adept handling of diplomatic negotiations, he was a staunch defender of national sovereignty and British influence in global affairs. The Treaty of London, 1839, one of Palmerston's notable diplomatic achievements was his role in negotiating the Treaty of London in 1839. This treaty recognized Belgium as an independent and neutral state, ensuring the balance of power in Europe and preventing potential conflicts over the Belgian territory. The Don Pacifico Affair, 1850, Palmerston's robust defense of British subjects abroad was exemplified in the Don Pacifico Affair. When a British citizen's property in Athens was attacked, Palmerston's assertive response, including a naval blockade of the Greek coast, showcased his commitment to protecting British interests and citizens. Crimean War, 1853 to 1856, Palmerston played a significant role in the Crimean War, working to form alliances against the expansionist ambitions of Russia. His diplomacy during the conflict aimed at preventing Russian dominance in the Black Sea and securing British influence in the region. Anglo-French Alliance. Palmerston recognized the importance of alliances in maintaining the balance of power. He fostered a strong relationship with France, culminating in the Anglo-French Alliance during the Crimean War. This alliance not only achieved its immediate objectives but also set the stage for future cooperation between the two nations. Palmerston's foreign policy decisions had a profound impact on the global stage during the mid-19th century. His emphasis on balancing power and safeguarding British interests contributed to the preservation of peace in Europe, even in the face of tensions and conflicts. The treaties and alliances he negotiated helped establish a framework for international relations, shaping the geopolitical landscape for years to come. Furthermore, Palmerston's proactive defense of British subjects abroad established a precedent for the protection of citizens' rights and property, reinforcing the idea that a powerful nation should assertively safeguard its citizens' interests wherever they may be. As Prime Minister from 1859 to 1865, Henry John Temple, Lord Palmerston, presided over a critical period of economic evolution marked by the ongoing Industrial Revolution. His approach to economic policies aimed at harnessing the benefits of industrialization while addressing the challenges it posed to society. Free trade and economic liberalism. Palmerston was a proponent of free trade and economic liberalism. He supported policies that removed trade barriers and promoted international commerce. His government's commitment to free trade was evident in its repeal of the Navigation Acts in 1859, which had restricted foreign competition in British shipping. Railway expansion. Palmerston recognized the transformative potential of railways in facilitating economic growth and connectivity. His government supported the continued expansion of the railway network, contributing to the acceleration of industrial and commercial activities across the country. Financial reforms. In response to economic challenges, including fiscal deficits, Palmerston's government implemented financial reforms. The 1860 budget, presented by Chancellor of the Exchequer William Ewart Gladstone, aimed to rationalize taxation and promote economic stability. Palmerston's leadership was not confined to economic matters. He also presided over a period marked by social and cultural reforms, reflecting the broader societal changes occurring in mid-19th century Britain. Education Acts. While education reform gained momentum in subsequent decades, the foundations were laid during Palmerston's time. The Education Act of 1870, passed shortly after his death, built upon earlier efforts to improve access to education, addressing issues related to elementary education. Public health reforms. The mid-19th century witnessed growing concerns about public health, spurred by the unsanitary conditions in rapidly industrializing urban areas. Though significant public health legislation came later, Palmerston's era saw the beginnings of awareness and discussions that would pave the way for subsequent reforms. Parliamentary reform. Palmerston's earlier career had witnessed the passage of the Reform Act 1832, a landmark piece of legislation that expanded voting rights and reformed parliamentary constituencies. While he was not directly involved in this reform, its impact resonated throughout his political career, contributing to a more inclusive political system. Crimean War and military reforms. The Crimean War highlighted deficiencies in the British military, leading to calls for military reform. Palmerston's government took steps to address these issues, initiating reforms in the army's organization, training, and administration to better prepare it for future conflicts. Challenges of the Irish question. Palmerston faced challenges related to Irish grievances and demands for political reform. The Fenian movement, advocating for Irish independence, posed a significant challenge during his tenure. Although his government took measures to address Irish discontent, the broader resolution of the Irish question continued to be a complex and contentious issue. The Panic of 1866. Palmerston's tenure coincided with the global economic downturn known as the Panic of 1866. This financial crisis had its roots in the failures of financial institutions and speculative investments. The economic repercussions were felt worldwide, impacting trade, investment, and industrial production. Agricultural depression. The mid-19th century saw the agricultural sector facing a severe depression due to a combination of factors, including the influx of cheap grain imports and changing agricultural practices. The resulting economic hardship for rural communities presented a challenge that required government attention and intervention. Chartist movement. The Chartist movement, advocating for political rights and representation for the working class, remained active during Palmerston's time. While the movement had peaked in the 1830s and 1840s, residual social unrest persisted. Palmerston's government faced the challenge of addressing working-class grievances and managing the potential for social upheaval. Public health and sanitation. The rapid urbanization and industrialization of this era brought about deplorable living conditions in cities, contributing to public health crises. Outbreaks of diseases such as cholera underscored the need for improvements in sanitation and public health. Responding to these challenges required concerted efforts in legislation and infrastructure development. Fenian movement. The Fenian movement, born out of Irish nationalist sentiments, posed both political and security challenges. Fenian uprisings and activities in Britain and Ireland demanded a coordinated response to maintain law and order while addressing the root causes of Irish discontent. In the face of these challenges, Palmerston's leadership style emphasized pragmatic and often assertive responses. His ability to navigate both domestic and international challenges showcased a political resilience that enabled him to weather the storms of his time. While not without controversy, Palmerston's tenure as Prime Minister was characterized by a commitment to stability and a pragmatic approach to crisis management. The American Civil War, which raged from 1861 to 1865, presented a complex and delicate diplomatic challenge for Henry John Temple, Lord Palmerston, as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Palmerston's stance on the conflict reflected the delicate balancing act required when navigating relations with both the Union and the Confederacy. Official neutrality. Initially, Palmerston and his government adopted an official stance of neutrality. This neutrality was guided by the recognition of the economic importance of the United States to Britain, as well as the desire to maintain positive diplomatic relations with both the Union and the Confederacy. The cotton industry, crucial to Britain's economy, was heavily dependent on southern cotton, while the North was a significant trading partner. The Trent Affair, 1861. One of the early diplomatic challenges during the Civil War was the Trent Affair. When a Union ship intercepted a British mail steamer, the Trent, and forcibly removed Confederate diplomats, tensions rose between Britain and the United States. Palmerston's government, initially outraged by the incident, skillfully navigated the crisis to avoid war. The release of the diplomats and a diplomatic resolution helped ease tensions between the two nations. The Laird Rams controversy. Another critical moment in British-American relations during the Civil War was the construction of ironclad warships, known as the Laird Rams, for the Confederacy in British shipyards. Concerns over the potential use of these warships against Union forces led to diplomatic negotiations. Palmerston, recognizing the potential for conflict, intervened to prevent the completion and delivery of the Laird Rams, diffusing another potential crisis. In conclusion, the American Civil War posed a complex set of challenges for Palmerston's government, requiring delicate diplomatic maneuvers to safeguard British interests and maintain stability in international relations. The impact of the conflict on British economic, political, and diplomatic considerations underscored the need for a nuanced and balanced approach to foreign policy during a turbulent period in world history. Lord Palmerston's tenure as Prime Minister from 1859 to 1865 marked a pivotal period in British political history. A recap of his key contributions reveals a multifaceted leader who left a lasting impact on both domestic and international fronts. Diplomacy and foreign policy. Palmerston's diplomatic finesse and assertive approach to foreign relations were central to his contributions. The negotiation of key treaties, such as the Treaty of London in 1839 and the Anglo-French alliance during the Crimean War, showcased his commitment to maintaining a balance of power in Europe and protecting British interests on the global stage. Economic liberalism. Palmerston's support for economic liberalization and free trade contributed to the development of British economic policies. The repeal of the Navigation Acts in 1859 reflected his commitment to removing trade barriers and fostering international commerce, setting the stage for later economic reforms. Leadership during crisis. Palmerston's leadership during times of crisis, such as the American Civil War and the economic challenges of the Panic of 1866, demonstrated his ability to navigate complex situations. His pragmatic and measured responses to diplomatic incidents and economic downturns were crucial in maintaining stability and safeguarding British interests. Domestic reforms. While often recognized for his foreign policy achievements, Palmerston also made contributions to domestic reforms. His support for education reform, public health initiatives, and economic policies aimed at industrialization and railway expansion reflected a broader commitment to improving societal conditions. In conclusion, Lord Palmerston's political legacy is one of adaptability, pragmatism, and a commitment to safeguarding British interests in a rapidly changing world. His contributions to diplomacy, economic policies, and crisis management continue to be studied and provide valuable insights for understanding the complexities of political leadership in the 19th century and beyond. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it informative, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future.